Lawmakers desperate for answers as mystery drones buzz over New Jersey neighborhoods, including my own house.
A major response from authorities that could be related to an incident involving a drone. It is happening in Hillsborough, New Jersey.
7 right here. What the heck?
States across the Northeast reporting swarms of suspected drones appearing with no explanation.
All over New Jersey. Since then, there's been an average of 92 sightings per night and expanding across half a dozen states.
Officials in New Jersey demanding action from federal authorities, meeting with Homeland Security earlier this week.
It scares the bejesus out of me. You have to tell me, in this day and age, 2024, that somebody can be flying drones over northern New Jersey and we have no clue who it is, where they're coming from, or where they're landing? That's unacceptable.
She says she heard the drone crash happened overnight here, but she says that she's seen several, what she believes are drones anyway, flying around her home. She says she lives not too far from where we're live right now.
A New Jersey legislator also in that meeting posting on X that the drones appear much larger than typical hobby drones. In some cases, up to 6 feet. They often fly with their lights off, making them harder to detect. Between 4 to 180 sightings per day, most often between 5 and 11 p.m.
People should be concerned, right? We've got our water supply, our electric. It's exposed right now. We don't have nets over our power grid.
So unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably heard about these drones, or otherwise known as UAPs, flying around the New Jersey skyline and even hitting parts of Manhattan and New York City, all the way over to western Maryland, lower Delaware. They've been seen almost in a tri-state region, and no one knows why. So I'm not talking about your neighbor's $300 drone buzzing around in his backyard. What I'm talking about is a massive, high-tech drones spotted in the dead of night, and they've got weird flying patterns that are so precise, it's got people wondering who's controlling them and what are they looking for. Now, over the past month, there's been some mysterious reports of drones flooding all over New Jersey, and you've probably seen some of the headlines. Towns like Ewing, Hamilton, and parts of Monmouth County, Somerset, all of those have had residents calling local authorities saying there's drones flying around in groups, sometimes as many as a dozen all at once. And they're not just hovering, they're moving in grids like they're scanning for something before disappearing without a trace. Here's the crazy part though, no one knows where these drones are coming from. Local law enforcement has investigated and even the FAA has been contacted, but so far, nothing. Nobody's claimed responsibility, and that's where the theories start flying. No pun intended. Some people think that these drones are part of a top secret government surveillance program. Others say it's private companies testing new tech, but here's where it gets interesting. Owning drones this advanced is not cheap. We're talking about millions of dollars in equipment here. These aren't the kind of drones that you can pick up at Best Buy or Amazon. So my question is, who's got the money and resources to pull this off, and why the state of New Jersey? But right now, people are freaked out. And honestly, I don't blame them. You've got these advanced drones flying over homes, schools, major highways. They're even affecting air traffic control now at a New York airport where they had to divert flights, delay flights, and even cancel flights in some of the worst case scenarios, which leads me to believe if the government knew who was doing this and they had any control whatsoever, why are they messing with civilians on commercial aircraft trying to land planes? It's also extremely dangerous, in my opinion, if you are a helicopter pilot, late at night you're flying around, or maybe you are even a medevac. And listen, just a couple of nights ago, a medevac helicopter could not land or take off from a spot because of the drone sightings around them. If they would have put that aircraft up in the air, that helicopter would have had the risk of getting that drone caught up in the propeller and would eventually crash the helicopter. So there's a lot of safety concerns. It's not just, oh my gosh, these drones are flying around, let's go get our tinfoil hats. This is a safety concern. And this is where a lot of New Jersey residents are really fearing for not only their safety, but others as well. Now, some of the theories about these drones and why they're here range from logical to straight up wild as hell. Some believe it's a military project testing out advanced reconnaissance systems, which, I could see that, but again, why New Jersey? And why at night? And why don't you just say, hey, we're testing this tech out? Others think it could be connected to big corporations surveying land for some big future project. And then there's the group that's convinced it's extraterrestrial. Obviously, aliens, UFOs of some sort. But that would make sense because people have seen these drones take off like a bat out of hell and fly away at almost the speed of light almost. And then other people are saying, and they've witnessed, including myself, that the drone's lights just completely go out and they disappear. Now, in this video that you're gonna watch, I'm gonna walk you through everything that's kind of going on here. And my friends and I, we went out to the Pine Barrens, which is literally in the dead center of New Jersey. And there was 5 of us. We all come from different backgrounds in life. And we're like, listen, if we're going to witness something, we're going to witness this together, and we're going to try to see what the hell is actually going on, not only in the Pine Barrens, but New Jersey as well. Our adventure started in Red Lion, New Jersey, right outside the Pine Barrens. We all met up at a local Dunkin' Donuts there and started to drive southeast into the Pine Barrens, into the Wharton State Forest. Now, I knew of this area. There is a very large open field, and that's exactly where we went. We parked up there, and it was a great 360 visual. I had my big van there. I had my Starlink, and this is the most important thing to remember in all of this is our investigation that night was backed up by actual factual data, aka flight radar. And now I use flight radar on my phone. It's an app. I believe it's free to use. And you can track any commercial flight, any private flight, any airplane in the sky right now. You can see it and where it's going, where it's been, how fast it's going, how high it is up in the air. And I think that's what's confusing a lot of people. They're saying, oh my gosh, a lot of people are getting aircraft right now confused for actual drones that are in the air. So what you may think as a drone might be an American Airlines flight headed from, Miami to Philadelphia or whatever you might, it doesn't really matter, but that's what I'm trying to get at. Now, if you're using this app like we were this night that you're about to watch, we used flight radar to make sure that we could debunk whether or not we thought this was an aircraft or a drone. And it was pretty precise because all night long we were seeing aircraft and I could match that up on flight radar and it was accurate. But the drones or UAPs that we were seeing all night long from the hours of 6 p.m. till 11:30 when we left were all not on flight radar. Now I know what you're saying, CJ, what if it was military? That is a very, very valid point. Not all military planes use transponders to transpond their location live on flight radar. But there are military-grade flight radars that they can see anything and everything. Now, I'm going to point this out. I would not personally put my drone up in the air in New Jersey right now because I have a really good feeling the FBI or somebody, the CIA, somebody's coming to knock on your door. And I don't want that. So I refrained from putting my drone up in the air because I did not want to get it confused with anything else that could have been in that area, nor did I want someone reporting my drone that is in the air. So again, all 5 of us, they were from Baltimore and I am from Delaware, and we all met up in the Pine Barrens. You have to understand one thing. We all witnessed the exact same thing. We were seeing drones that the lights would just shut off. We were seeing drones fly in patterns, and the weirdest part of the night was when we looked off in the distance in the northwestern region of the Pine Barrens. There was 3 drones or UAPs that were in a perfectly good triangle formation, and that triangle was spinning in a 360 direction. It was almost like a weird illusion at first, and then we realized, okay, this is really happening. We're all witnessing this. We're getting this on camera, and I think it's crazy because as we're in the Pine Barrens, the Pine Barrens are creepy enough as it is with mob activity and ghost sightings and all that kind of stuff. But now you're adding potential extraterrestrial involvement in this. Now, I don't think that I believe in UFOs as far as like aliens and extraterrestrial, but there's a lot of people who do. And I will never, ever, ever discount your experience or your opinion. And I hope that you watching this video right now, you don't discount mine. This is a two-way street here. In the comment section below, I want you all to absolutely go bonkers. I don't care how crazy your theory is, drop it below, let me know. Because again, this is part 1 of 2. I'm headed back out into the Jersey Shore area next. I'm not going to the Pine Barrens, I'm going to the Jersey Shore, where there was an officer who witnessed up to 50 drones flying from out from the sea into the shoreline. And I believe the report said once the drones got to the shoreline, all of the drones dispersed in like a different direction. It did not sound like jet engines. It had that hum as a drone would, which has an electric motor. But now let's talk about the tech behind all of this, okay? This has got me really thinking. Drones of this capability will take millions of dollars to build and millions of dollars to take care of. This is technology that I don't think any of us as civilians have probably ever laid eyes on. This is military grade drones or something from outside of this world, as some people are saying. Now, I know that everyone is saying the government's covering up something, the government's covering up something, and they very might well be. Who the hell knows? I can talk until I'm blue in the face about what I think and my opinions about that, but I think we all have to go into it with an open mind. I think I would have to say over 50% of people probably are reporting false drone sightings, getting an aircraft mixed up with what they think is a drone because they don't have flight radar, and there is something with blinking lights above their house, and they're like, oh my gosh, am I going to be abducted? Now, there are a couple of addresses in New Jersey that if any of the drone pilots or aliens from out there in outer space are looking for, some fine people to abduct, I've got their addresses, so, just kind of hit me up. My business email's down here in the link in the description, but that was a joke, but kind of not really. This is something that, this is something that I don't think any of us were ever prepared for. You see movies all the time that anticipate these weird happenings, but I didn't think I'd ever see something like this in my lifetime. Now, I'm going to tell you about my experience out there. We got out there in the middle of about between 6 and 7, and we're in the middle of this field. It's 24 degrees outside. The capabilities of a drone at that temperature, I don't think anyone's thinking about. The capability of battery life. Battery life tremendously goes down because of cold. It just drains batteries. This is where I think is something to take note of.
Yeah. That one's been sitting there the whole time.
Oh, that thing is.
Yeah.
That's just chilling there.
It's still sitting there. It moved over a little bit. It moved over.
These drones are almost in the air for 7 to 8 hours, and not one person has seen where they take off or land from.
Not even out here 5 minutes, and then boom, right out of the gate.
Yep, same path. There's one behind it.
Yeah, there's another one behind it, but that's exactly what they were talking about.
Coming groups, yeah. Another one over here.
Oh, yeah.
That one's been sitting there the whole time.
Oh, that thing is.
Yeah.
That's just chilling there.
It's still sitting there.
It moved over a little bit.
It moved over and then it went this way, and then it just came back and stayed there.
So it's not like they're taking off a couple miles away. It's not like they're just taking off in someone's backyard. This is a very sophisticated UAP, and there's multiple. Now, I know there's drone sightings happening all over the world right now, and let's get this straight. This is a mass scale operation, if that's what this really truly is.
Now see, look at this. The only thing on flight radar is that plane over there. Way over there. That's the only thing on flight radar. So that's the thing, is like, that's what that guy said tonight, or earlier today. He's like, you're gonna notice like a lot of weird patterns and behaviors, as if it is like kind of AI controlled drones. Look at this thing. See that over the treetop?
Yep.
So so here's kind of what I'm getting at. Are the drones here for surveillance? Are they a part of some giant experiment, like a social experiment on all of us? Is the government pulling a social experiment on us and saying, hey, how are these people gonna react? Is this another ruse? Is this another, wool sheet pulled over our heads and saying, hey, this is nothing, but it actually is something? The truth is, no one knows for sure, but authorities aren't taking this lightly, and whoever's flying these things around clearly doesn't want to be found. But with sightings happening more than often than not, the rumors grow louder and louder every single day, in my opinion. And one thing's for sure, I don't think the mystery is even far from being, I don't think the mystery is going to be solved anytime soon. And I'm going to play a clip right now from the Pentagon, who was interviewed about these UAPs. They did not confirm, but they also did not deny that it's extraterrestrial. But that's the way this makes me lean. And again, I don't know what to believe. We can only go off of what is being told to us right now.
These are not U.S. military drones. Again, this is being investigated by local law enforcement. What our initial assessment here is that these are not drones or activities coming from a foreign entity or adversary.
You're telling me we don't know what the hell these drones are in New Jersey are? Is that correct?
That's right.
It's crazy. I mean, that's crazy. That's madness that we don't know what these drones are.
From the Coast Guard, who said that one of their 47-foot motor lifeboats was followed by between 12 and 30 of these drones as they went.
One of the creepier things is the size of the drones. People are claiming that they are anywhere from 8 to 10-foot wingspans. That's beyond your average consumer drone like a DJI or a Skydio can do. And then there's the way they move. People have seen them hovering completely still, even in high winds. That's a level of stabilization you probably would expect from like a military-grade tech or something, not something you'd find in like a backyard hobby drone like we all own. And then there's the speed. This is where I get confused the most at, okay? The speed, these drones can be hovering in one spot for hours, and when they decide to move, they're gone in a flash, accelerating so fast it's almost impossible to track them with the naked eye, which brings me to my next point. There were local authorities in New Jersey who put up one of their law enforcement grade drones and tried to get up close to one, and it took off so fast the law enforcement drone couldn't even keep up with whatever UAP or drone this was in the sky. So then it brings me to the next one, which is my favorite, are the Karens on your neighborhood Facebook groups that are freaking the F out over these drones right now. And, Karen's feeding cats right now. All right. She's worried about drones abducting her cats. There was a claim on a Facebook group that I'm a part of. I joined and pretended I was a resident, and people were claiming that there was a drone that tried to snag 2 dogs out of someone's backyard. Those are the claims I don't put much merit to unless I see like a Ring camera and a poor dog. I would hate to see it, but a dog lifting up out of the air via drone or UAP. I'm not putting much credit towards that. So you really got to be careful of what you read on the internet right now. There are so many theories out there. So some of these experts out here are even thinking that the drones might be equipped with LiDAR, basically a laser scanning system that can create a super detailed 3D map of the ground below. That would explain obviously why people see these flying in a grid-like pattern, almost like they're scanning the area for something. But my question is, what the hell are they scanning for? That's obviously the million-dollar question here. Some people have also said that these drones have some type of detection system on them to detect nuclear activity or like radiation on the ground. But again, if that's a concern, shouldn't we be telling the American people? I think we all deserve that. As citizens and taxpayers of the United States of America, I believe we are owed just a tiny bit of explanation. Like, hey, listen, this is us. This is the U.S. military. We're doing some tests and reconnaissance and all of that. There's nothing to worry about. We're just trying to make sure our drone program is advanced enough that we can counteract an attack if it were to happen on American soil. I think Karen on your local neighborhood group Facebook page, I think she would be okay then. And so would I. So while we're talking about the Facebook groups, a lot of people first speculated that these were delivery drones from Amazon, Walmart, Target, people like that who are experimenting with UAP or AKA drones to deliver packages straight to your front door. But obviously, if they were drones owned by big corporations, first off, the government's going to know. Second of all, the government will be like, hey guys, it's just deliveries. They're practicing. They're testing this out. And again, this kind of just brings me back to the secretism in which we are experiencing right now in the United States. And it's that no one knows. I, for one, find it very strange that local law enforcement agencies are elected officials. Everyone's asking questions and no one is giving a straight answer. It's in my opinion, it's a political answer. Everyone just kind of beats and dances around the bush and oh yeah, rah rah, all this stuff. Nothing to worry about. But they said the same thing about a lot of other stuff here recently too. And I think we all kind of know that you have to form your own opinion. You have to do your own research, and you also have to be smart about this thing. If you, and I'm going to put this out there as just being a good citizen here, if you think there is a drone flying over your backyard, the number one thing to do is do not call 911 yet. Check flight radar. If it does not show up on flight radar and you still have a suspicion that it could be something very nefarious or dangerous, then call 911. But this also leads me to my next subject.
That's a possibility.
Which way? Yeah, there's two of them over here.
Oh yeah, look, clear shot. That's a beautiful shot. Look at this. Hang on, I'm going on top of the van. This is fucking nuts. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is fucking beautiful. Holy shit. Listen. Don, that's another one.
The noise that these things make, it is a slight humming noise. Sometimes it's a high-pitched, sometimes it's a low-pitched humming noise. And I'm going to show you footage. We were out in the Pine Barrens the other night, and we're seeing these drones, and they're virtually silent. You can hear just a little bit of like that, and it's just enough to let you know something's there if you're paying attention. And why do they have lights on? I don't know. If you're trying to be secretive about something, why in the hell do you have the lights on? Why are you on lights on? But we also saw these drones turn their lights off. Now that is a feature that, your DJI drone does not have the capability of doing. At nighttime and daytime, those lights are on. So your hobby drones, as I would like to call it, those have lights. Those have also special parameters. They cannot fly over a military base. And there are military bases reporting drone activity. Please, someone for the life of me, tell me how in the actual hell we are flying drones over a military base and the military bases don't even know about it. That's a problem. And for whatever reason, I'm assuming some of the news stories, and these are from news stories, local law enforcement, they don't even have the ability. Maybe they have the ability, but they don't have the permission to shoot these drones down. Again, bringing me to my next subject, do not do that, by the way. Leave that to a professional, okay? Because if you were to shoot this drone down and you miss, or whatever the case might be, it could hurt a lot of people. Because whatever goes up must come down. And that is the most important thing to remember. I have redneck friends that I grew up with that are like, yeah, let it come over my house. Now, pump action shotgun. And I'm like, okay, everybody. Being a firearms enthusiast like I am, I understand the ramifications of firearms and what that can simply do to not only your life, but somebody else's, okay? Do not do that. Report it. Let the authorities take care of it. Another thing that I'm going to add in here that was told to me by a New Jersey state trooper, actually a very high up New Jersey state trooper that I know. He told me, because when he heard about me going out there and spotting for drones, he's like, CJ, just promise me one thing. Whatever you do, do not approach that drone unless you have safety equipment on. And I'm like, what do you mean safety equipment? He's like, personal protection. And I'm like, you mean like, a firearm? He's like, no. Hazmat suit. Do you own a hazmat suit? I said, no, I don't own a hazmat suit. He said, well, don't go towards it. And I said, okay, well, where is the information coming in that's telling you all to put on this, hazmat suit to go and look at a drone that's crashed? He said, I can't disclose that information. And I'm like, okay. Somebody somewhere knows information, but somebody's not coming off of the information. Okay, so again, if you see a drone that is crashed, or you're going to go and try to find a crashed drone that you thought that happened, please be careful. Understand that if this is a foreign adversary drone, or UAP, there could potentially be some dangerous substances in there. Which brings me to my next point. There are multiple people on social media that have taken videos of these UAPs, and it looks like they're spraying some type of mist into the air. Now, what could that be? A multitude of things. I don't think we're growing any crops here in the wintertime because it's 24 degrees out, so you're not spraying fertilizer. The only thing that I can personally come up with in my head is that these UAPs are spraying something. Now, again, radiation detection is a good theory. I don't know why that we're spraying for radiation, or I don't know how that works, but a lot of people on social media right now are saying, yeah, that could be trying to detect radiation of, foreign adversaries that could be hiding out in here. And, if you're a fan of the Sean Ryan podcast, which I'm a massive fan of, he actually had this lady on there the other day that said there's, terrorist organizations that sit silently in countries, including ours.
We think it's going to be a swarming attack, right? Multiple different attacks at one time across multiple cities.
And that got me thinking, I'm like, what the hell? What the hell is going on? Where do we all draw the line of information and safety to the public? Because right now, mass hysteria is happening. I think everyone knows that. Everyone sees it. For goodness sakes, Karen on every Facebook page and in a local community Facebook page that should be say, in New Jersey is freaking out right now. Freaking out. And in part 2, it's going to be less of me talking one-on-one to all of you. But in part 2 of this series that I'm doing, I'm going to try to do something that has never been done before while chasing these drones. And no, I'm not putting myself in a legal ramification. I'm putting myself in a questionable scenario that if something were to happen between me and this UAP, it could potentially be life-threatening. And I know what you're all thinking. Now, this theory is up here in my head. I personally think that it is an AI-controlled program going on right now. Because if you think about this, for lack of a better term, I'm going to use this charger from my Apple computer. Think about this. Let's say there's 50 drones flying all at one time. That means there has to be 50 people controlling, 50 operators or pilots controlling from somewhere. And you're telling me that we can't intercept that signal. You're telling me that we can't intercept where they're taking off of and where they're landing? It seems a little weird to me. And maybe if it is AI powered and it has the technology and capability of avoiding LiDAR, radar, and all of these detection systems that not only our military has, but local law enforcement has, we really probably have a problem on our hands. I truly think that. That's my thing. I think this is AI powered, and AI has, it's written all over it. AI has some very weird capabilities, and it could control all of these drones all at once. And it could avoid certain areas. It could avoid certain detection systems, or it could override certain detection systems. Or we could be invaded by aliens. I have no clue. I don't have a clue. So I hope that you all have enjoyed this video so far. Part 2 is going to be wild. I'm headed out literally 5 minutes after I get done hitting record on this video right here. And I'm going to be exploring the entire New Jersey state and interviewing people. And quite frankly, figuring out what the hell is going on.